So welcome to session 12 of the Logistem Linguistics Club. First, I'm going to go over a quick review of the Linguistics Olympiad. So Naclo, which is the North American Computational Linguistics Open Competition, is the competition that determines which students get to participate in the IOL, which is the International Linguistics Olympiad. So Naclo is split into two rounds. The first round is the open round, and the second round is the invitational round. For the open round, anyone can participate. And then for the invitational round, if you're in the top scores in the open round, you get invited to the next one. So here are some ways to prepare for Naclo. The first thing you can do is take a foreign language class, which is offered at your school. And this isn't necessary, but it can help you with understanding how other languages compare to English. The next thing you can do is read some linguistics textbooks. So on Naclo's official website, they have a reading list, and you can check out that list and see what books you might be interested in going over. Then the next thing you can do is read the 2022 handbook. So every year, Naclo comes out with an official guide, which basically goes over some of the basic information about the test, like when it is and how long it is and what type of problems are on it. So it'd be useful to check that out before actually doing the test. And finally, the most important thing you should do is do some practice problems. So Naclo puts their test problems from every year onto their website. So if you go there, you can just check out every year's problems. And finally, I recommend you watch the Logistem Linguistics Olympiad video, which I made a few months ago. So it basically goes over the information of the Olympiad, and I think I went over a few problems there too. Okay, so for dates, the registration opened a few months ago, and I believe it closes sometime mid-January, right before the test. So if you're interested in doing the Olympiad, you should register now. And then Naclo 2022 will be held on January 27th, and the invitational round will be March 17th. So those are the two dates. Okay, for our first problem, it's called junk mail, letters we don't need, and it's worth 10 points. So recently, a group of researchers decided that the alphabet had too many letters and it couldn't fit conveniently on cell phone keyboards. And there were too many options when filling in crosswords, and children were wasting time chanting all 26 letters in the alphabet song. So the researchers noticed that many letters were unnecessary. For example, P and B sound a lot alike, so they decided to replace every P with a B, while every B remained unchanged. So plug would be written as blug, but bug would stay as bug. So they continued this process until they narrowed down the letters to just 9 letters. So you have the name of this new writing system here. And this is one of the headlines that ran that day. And the article ended with the following words. So the first part of this problem is rewrite each of the following words into this new language. And then there's 2 other questions. So one major problem with this language is ambiguity. So for example, after it was adopted, many people grew up assuming that the book Moby Dick was about a young bird. So how is this written in this language, and why do you think people would misinterpret it? Then next, TV shows began to use the ambiguity as a sense of humor. So in one show, the main character texted 2 friends a message that was intended to say, "Give me a minute," but then one friend handed her fruit and the other handed her vegetable. So what was the name of the fruit and what was the vegetable? So how could it be misinterpreted? So I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll put the link for the problem in the chat really quick. So I'll put you in break rooms after that. And you have a little bit of time to do it. Okay, so here's the problem. Then I'll put you guys in breakout rooms. Is everyone back then? Okay. I'm gonna go over the answers then. So first, for a problem like this, what you want to do is you want to kind of mark down every translation so you don't forget anything. So here, there's two tables. One of them is from the other language to English and then English to the other language. So either one is fine. Here you can see if it's U in this language, it's basically just all the vowels in the English alphabet. Then B stands for BMP, D is DNT, G is CGK, L is still L, R is still R, V is FV, W is W, and then Z is JSZ. And then H got deleted, and then GZ is X. So if we go look back at the article, we can translate it now. So we know from the first word that this one is words, because you can kind of tell from that. And then this is will. So based on this, you can already get some of the translations. This would be B. And then this is spelled. This one's kind of tricky. This one is differently. And then this is because of new alphabet. So that's what this stands for. Then the article, I'm just going to read it out loud. It's for better or for worse, the transformed alphabet will make writing look like a puzzling jumble of random letters. We just have one major question. Is it justified? Expect lots of complaints from people who grew up with the old system. So if you figure out the entire translation, you can basically just make that table and get everything. So here, we can start with words, which we can get from above. The is du. Fifth is like that. Squeaky is like that. I think I'm missing a letter. Jazz is that. Bagpipes is that. Vertex is that. And then calming is like that. So in order to do this part of the question, you have to make like a chart translation. So that would be your first step. Then for the second half of the question, you can go here. So B2, Moby Dick in the new alphabet is like this, Boo Boo Doug, which people can misinterpret as baby duck. So that would be the animal that you misinterpret it as. And then for this in the new alphabet, give me a minute is written like this. So this could be translated as banana or potato as well, like outside of minute. So your fruit would be banana and vegetable would be potato. So that's how you do this problem. Basically, the main part is you just have to make a table like this. And then after that, the rest is pretty easy, I think. So that's it for this problem. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if not, I'm gonna make Jeffrey the host right now, and he's gonna go over the second problem that we have.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, so one second. So our next problem is called word salad and it's worth 10 points. So the problem goes as this. Charlie and Jane had been passing notes in class when suddenly their teacher, Mr. Johnson, saw what was going on. He rushed to the back of the class, took the note and ripped it up, dropping the pieces on the floor. Jane noticed that he had managed to rip each word of the message onto a separate piece of paper. So what this means is basically that these 6 words, they form a message in some order. Now I'm going to send the problem in the chat. And And there are four parts to this problem, so I'm going to put everybody into breakout rooms so they can work on the problem until around 6:20. Okay, so it looks like everyone is back now. So I'm just going to go over the solution to this problem. So first for part one on A, this should be pretty easy. The correct answer was my dog is in the school, which should be fairly straightforward. You can just basically test answers until you figure out what it is. Give two alternative grammatical sentences. So as long as it's grammatically correct, this is going to work. So you can basically put really anything, just change around the nouns or like my and the. So two examples would be the school is in my dog, or the dog is in my school, which are both grammatically correct. And explain for each alternative why it is less likely than your first suggestion. This is fairly obvious. The first one is less likely because it makes no physical sense. And the second one is less likely because Charlie would probably refer to it as the school, considering that they're both in the same school. And with that, we will move on to part two. So in part two, in the previous, so the idea for this is that when Charlie writes this sentence, he can write it in a way that it's you want to basically make uh their high school and Jefferson High School interchangeable. So the idea would be something like, if you say we our team won against Jefferson High, or something like that, then this can easily be then you can switch around. Then the two high schools are interchangeable in the sentence, which means that you can switch this and change it to Jefferson High won against our team. So anything that works like this, it would be a correct answer. Now for part three is a bit trickier. So the idea for this one is that there's so many words that we cannot possibly deduce what Charlie was actually saying. So we look at the words themselves, and the first thing you can notice is there's a lot of words such as avoid, awful, lack, plague, risible that have a strong negative connotation, while there's a few, while a lot less, such as cool or pretty or originality, that might have a more positive connotation. So most likely this would be because well, more words have a negative connotation than positive. So most likely this shows that Charlie did not like the movie. However, this is also ambiguous because there's a lot of words such as this not, for example, which can basically nullify any of these. So it's not entirely clear what he thought. And now if we go on to the last section. So the next day, whatever. So here are the words she found. What are two possible grammatical sentences Charlie might have intended that have opposite meanings? Now, the idea here is that this word not you can say like, you can say bad versus like not bad, for example. So this can change the context of the sentence in describing the movie positively versus negatively. So if we just do some work here, then these two thes have to be paired up with either the dialogue or the special effects, and then you're either using bad or thrilling to describe it. So if we just put this together, then one way we can write it is the dialogue was bad and the special effects were not thrilling. And you'll see in this case, then both the dialogue and the special effects they're referred to they have a negative connotation attached to them, which would suggest that he did not like the movie. And if we wanted to make it so he did like it, then all we have to do is just move this word not, so that if we take it out of here, then then the special effects are thrilling, that becomes positive. And if we put it in front of the word bad, then this negative one will also become positive. So we can write the dialogue was not bad and the special effects were thrilling. And by switching this word not around, then we can now both the dialogue and the special effects are described positively. So this one would imply that Charlie liked the movie. And that is all that there is to the problem. So the physics club is right after this. So that is all that we have. I believe this is the last session. So have a nice weekend and good luck on the Olympiad. Thank you.